en línea telefónica. Good morning, buenos días.
Good morning, buenos dias, Carmen. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, sir. I'm going to try to conduct this interview in both languages. My English is bad, but I bet that your Spanish is worse.
Your English is far, far better than my Spanish.
Well, let's see what we can do. Today,
Okay, I'll try to keep my answers short.
I know that you've been described as a real charmer, tall, dark, and handsome, but we Puerto Rico are skeptical because candidates come and go. They raise money, and they go back to the land of their dreams, to the promising land, while we remain the last colony of the world under the worst economic crisis ever. How do you feel about Puerto Ricans and status?
Well, I have been coming to Puerto Rico for a few years now. I was the first governor to actually, I'm told, attend the inauguration of one of your governors when I came as the head of the Democratic Governors Association to the swearing in of Governor Alejandro Garcia Padilla, a person for whom I have a tremendous amount of respect. So in this campaign, I have been leading on issues that matter to the people of Puerto Rico, and I believe they're issues that define us as a nation throughout our whole hemisphere.
Yeah, but Puerto Rican people, you know, we need to come out of this crisis. How do you stand on Chapter 9, which is Pedro Pierluisi's, comisionado residente in Washington's proposal? How do you feel about former Governor Acevedo Vilá, who's asking the U.S. government to pay our debt? How do you stand on those issues, sir?
Yeah, I was out front on this. In fact, a couple of months ago, and maybe it's my Irish background, but I have a soft spot for island people that are getting a raw deal. And I believe that our country needs to stand up and stand with your governor in renegotiating some of the terms of Puerto Rico's debt. The governor should not be fighting this fight by himself. And so I believe that Congress, in fact, should give Puerto Rico the same Chapter 9 protections that every other state has. I also have called upon our federal government through the Secretary of Health to treat Puerto Rico more fairly when it comes to reimbursement rates in your healthcare system, which is also contributing to the fiscal problems there. So Puerto Rican people are paying the same as people on the mainland, but they're not getting the same return when it comes to the reimbursement rates on Medicare and on Medicaid. So both of those things, along with our president actually helping your governor renegotiate the terms with these hedge fund guys in New York, I think are things that we must do. We can't let Puerto Rico suffer. We can't let Puerto Rico go under. This is very important to us as a nation, and I think it speaks volumes about what kind of country we are to all of the people of the Americas.
Let me translate for Spanish-speaking people here and in the mainland. Estoy hablando con el exgobernador de O'Malley, que también es un contrincante fuerte a observar en la campaña primarista del Partido Demócrata para las próximas elecciones generales. Y le he preguntado sobre lo que hacen los candidatos en Puerto Rico, que vienen a Puerto Rico, levantan fondos millonarios, se van con los bolsillos llenos y Puerto Rico continúa siendo la última colonia en el mundo. Y también le pregunto cómo se siente de que nosotros estamos en medio de una crisis económica terrible y además de eso, pues Acevedo Vilá pidió al gobierno americano que nos cubriera la deuda. Obviamente él nos dio su apreciación sobre el tema. Aquí la candidata conocida es Hillary Clinton. Le voy a preguntar si él cree que puede derrotar a la señora Clinton. Sir, Hillary Clinton is well known in Puerto Rico. She and her husband. And during the last primaries she won by a landslide. Do you think that you can beat her?
I do. In fact, we have a very strong campaign in Puerto Rico. I have been there many times. In fact, I was there about a month or two ago, and at which time I was endorsed by Senator Jorge Suarez, Representative Cesar Hernandez, Sonia Pacheco, Raymond Luis Cruz, Carlos Bianchi, Nelson Torres Jordan. So we have a campaign that is growing.
Do you have any PNP who supports you? Any stateholders?
We have. I rattled off some of the names of the people that have endorsed us so far, and I look forward to picking up more support as this campaign continues. But Carmen, usually
because what is said that is that this government is going to lose the election, and we're going to have a change in government.
Well, look, the election that I am focused on is this presidential campaign, and I am garnering support and welcome support from wherever I can find that support. And as a new candidate, I'm not as well known as the established candidate, but there's a rule of thumb in democratic politics, in presidential politics, and that is that the inevitable front runner is inevitable, but only up until the first contest. And so we are gaining ground in Iowa and New Hampshire, and our party is usually the party that puts forward the voice of a new generation of leadership.
What about the
Hispanic? And that's what I believe will happen here.
What about the Hispanic people? Do you think that you can win the vote of the Hispanic people? Because it's been said that they favor Hillary.
Well, that's just today. All of these polls right now are name recognition, Carmen. Once the first voters have their chance to cast their ballot in Iowa and New Hampshire, the dynamic of the race will change. I have been leading on issues, especially as they relate to new American immigrants, issues of comprehensive immigration reform as a national economic imperative. And unlike the other candidates in this race, I've actually accomplished things in office that prove where my heart is. We passed the DREAM Act in Maryland, and we defended it at the ballot so that immigrant kids could go to college from in-state tuition. I passed driver's licenses for new American immigrants, and I stood up and very forcefully challenged my own party on the treatment of the refugee children from Central America who were being penned up in pretty inhumane conditions. I'm also the only candidate in this race for the Democratic Party that has called for an end to for-profit prisons and an end to the sort of mass detentions of women and children that are happening. I believe the enduring symbol of our country is the Statue of Liberty, not barbed wire and chain-link fences. So I think I will do very well with new American immigrants who in this generation happen to be Latino.
Regarding Puerto Ricans, we are discriminated and we are second-class citizens because imagine that I support your candidacy. Okay, fine and dandy, but then I cannot vote for you because we don't have, we're not allowed the presidential vote. And on the other hand, can we live in this situation for long? It's being past due. And President Obama is not taking care of Puerto Rico, but he's dealing with Cuba. What do we need to become a communist nation for you to take care of us?
Yeah, well, I think we have a long history as a country of not treating Puerto Rico fairly in terms of, and you do have a role in the presidential primaries, though. But I believe that since you send the people of Puerto Rico send their sons and daughters to fight in our armed services and in our conflicts, that you certainly should have the right to vote in American elections. And working out the status of Puerto Rico is up to the people of Puerto Rico, and we need to be guided by the desires of the people of Puerto Rico. But I believe that whether it's with regard to District of Columbia or Puerto Rico, that people deserve to be included, represented, and fully participate in our country as Americans.
One last question, sir. If you have good friends in the Popular Democratic Party, but if Puerto Ricans favored statehood, would you support it?
I would. I think we all need to be guided by what the people of Puerto Rico decide. So the answer to that is yes.
Okay. Are you coming back to Puerto Rico, or that was your?
I hope so. I would love to come. I would love to come back to Puerto Rico. I was there far in advance of Secretary Clinton, and actually talking about the healthcare crisis. We visited with providers there, and I've been applying pressure, and that's what leadership's all about. And I'm glad Secretary Clinton has come around to addressing the issues that that face us in Puerto Rico. We need to do better by the people of Puerto Rico. It's not right, not just that that you guys are being treated as you are by these big hedge funds. There's a better way forward here, and we need to help Puerto Rico. And so the more candidates that come around to my position, the better. And I'm looking forward to coming back to Puerto Rico. I love the people of Puerto Rico are kind, generous. It's a beautiful place, and I am a big fan of your governor, who I think is fighting a noble fight, and he needs the president to help him in keeping the wolves away from the door.
So one last question for our friends in the state, because we have another program through WAPA America that runs in the state. Una última pregunta para los amigos de WAPA América que nos ven a través de Lo Sé Todo con el candidato O'Malley, uno de los candidatos demócratas a la presidencia de los Estados Unidos, y tiene que ver con la reforma migratoria y la manera en que personas como Donald Trump han tratado a la población hispana. Sir, this last question has to do with the migratory reform and the way, the disrespectful way in which pre-candidate Donald Trump has treated Hispanics. How do you stand on the migratory laws and reform?
So I'm pushing back against that hateful, racist language that is coming out of the Republican Party led by this carnival barker, Donald Trump. I think his language, I think the way he tries to vilify all Americans of Latino descent is despicable. I think it's ugly, and it has no place in the public discourse of our country. And let us hope that some of the Republican candidates for president will actually develop some backbone and some spine and push back against his language. It's dangerous, it's wrong, and it's un-American.
What do you think about Marco Rubio?
I don't know Marco Rubio very well. My background was as an executive. So I was a governor and I was a mayor. And while other people talk about progressive values, I've actually gotten things accomplished as an executive. So and so the people that I don't know Senator Rubio very well at all, but I do know what it takes to forge a new consensus and to get things done in public office. And that's my background. That's what I have to offer. I'm an executive who actually gets things done.
Sir, thanks for your time.
Thank you. La dicha al hecho hay mucho trecho. Thank you, Carmen.
Gracias por su tiempo.